Good.
Hello and welcome to the Bald and Beardiful. I'm Bryce.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Bald.
Beautiful.
And we are going to talk about week 6 because we missed a week. So this is the end of week 5, the beginning of week 6, completely missed week 4.
Yeah. Well, we didn't miss week 4. We missed week 5. We didn't do picks for week 5.
No, we did picks for week 4. We didn't do the results for week 4, and we didn't. And now we're doing the results for week 5 going into week 6. So we missed 1 week, but still, it's a 2-week span since we recorded.
Yes, baby stuff got in the way.
It's a lot of scheduling issues, but we make it work. We're doing the best we can. I got a new hat.
You got a new hat. I have a new hat.
Crisp.
Yeah.
You just not wearing it?
No, I haven't bought it yet. I haven't bought it yet. I'm buying baby things. So once I'm done, I'm never gonna be done buying baby things. But like when I take a break from buying like fun stuff for the baby, because like I bought like football stuff for the baby, right? So I have a onesie that it's a Cowboys onesie because it has a Cowboy star in it, but he's a little football. So like when I so when you're holding him, it looks like you're holding the football.
Holding a little ball.
And then I got him some Cardinal stuff too, and then we got him these like fleece kind of like onesie, like kind of like fuzzy onesie thingies for because not that we really have winter in Arizona, but it'll be cold for the baby. But the thing is, though, is their 0 to 3 months is like absolutely massive. Not the we have a little peanut of a child, but like in comparison, the baby to the piece of clothing, it's like double his size at least.
you sent Dan and I a picture of him laying in his little thing with his arms sleeping like this.
Yes.
I don't remember what Dad said, but I just went, was the field goal good?
So yeah, he's my little buddy for football. And then now I have some stuff. Like I said, he's gonna have to grow into some of the stuff we bought because it was the smallest that was offered. I'm hoping the little football one is a little bit smaller, and that way, like he can wear that immediately.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's get into our picks. We got a lot to cover today.
All right.
Yeah, week 4 was a little bit more the same. I think I called this week a missed field goal because we missed it.
Yeah. Wait, weren't the missed field goals were in week 5?
Say again?
Where the missed field goals were in week 5.
Yeah, there were quite a few in week 5. But to quickly run down week 4, Detroit let me down. I definitely thought they were going to do better against Chicago because I thought they were playing well, but nope, just didn't happen. Cleveland against Minnesota did what I expected. New Orleans. No more New Orleans, especially this week because I'm on the bye. Kansas City did what I thought they were going to do. I thought it would be a little bit more of a spread, but not unhappy with it. And Baltimore, of course, did Baltimore things in Denver. In Denver. So yeah.
Yeah, so somehow the Jets beat Tennessee. I'm still not really sure what happened. Like they were up for a majority of the game, and then it went to over, and then they lost in overtime.
I feel like we did talk about this in our Blazing 5 issue because I'm getting a little bit of
yes. Because as far as our comparison to the Blazing 5, like far as I'm still in shock. Either way.
Why did we? I'm just we did a Blazing 5 issue on this, but we didn't actually cover the results in in our main channel.
Yeah, because we put together all of them together.
Yeah, and on the time before, it was like right between making our picks and the end of that particular week.
So. Yeah. So for those of you who are watching, haven't checked out our our shorts, we have shorts where we compete against Cowherd and the Blazing 5.
Anyway, you were also on New Orleans. If you spoiler alert, if you go check out our Bald and Beardiful versus the Blazing Five, you'll see that Cowherd actually took the Giants on this one and absolutely destroyed us on it.
Yeah, I don't see how you could have been on the Giants on this one, but whatever. Either way,
It's hard.
And let's see, about what I expected happened with I said Green Bay and Pittsburgh. It was a pick against Pittsburgh, right? And then
Yeah.
I totally screwed this pick up because I would have changed it had I known the weather was going to be just garbage. And
for Tampa Bay, New England.
Yeah, because Tampa Bay should have absolutely just dumped New England. But because with it raining and because Tampa Bay is not a run team in any manner. Same as the way New England, when Brady was in New England, they were not a run team. They just threw a lot. And with the rain not being conducive to
catching a football
or catching a football in general, yeah, I would have totally switched out this pick and also bet on the under.
Yeah. No, you had
two major to the weather.
You had two major flops as far as Tennessee and in New Orleans go. I was lucky enough to only have one major flop and one major recovery to keep me at least positive for that week.
Yep. So another negative week. Not quite. I mean, is that worse? For as far as my minus 23, am I trending in the right direction, or did I have a
the week before? I think you were minus 44 or something like that. So you are trending upward.
Are we sure we didn't recap? No, we didn't recap week 4. We talked about week 4. I'm trending in the right direction either way. Less negative. All right. So another win in the books for you, because you were even less negative than I was.
Woo! Let's go to week 5.
Week
talk about this on
5, which I feel like going long should have been the title of week 4, and the missed field goal should have been week 5 because of all the missed field goals that were in week 5.
In week 5, I remember getting like 5 updates of check out this amazing pass of 50 yards, 60 yards, 70 yards from like 5 different teams for touchdowns. I want to say, and even the Monday night, the Monday night game with Indianapolis, the very beginning had a 70-yard rush. It was a quick toss to Jonathan Johnson. I said it right the first time, and I corrected myself.
Yes.
and he ran for 70 yards in the first 2 minutes, as a prime example. And I don't remember all of them, but it happened quite a bit.
Yeah, I remember like watching this game, because going into the Monday night game, I was already done. I had my 5.5 points, and you were minus 5 points. So if your pick was good, right, then it would have a solid showing. There could have been a swing and you could have overtaken me.
Oh, absolutely. But that game was horrifying to watch because Indianapolis was up the entire game at one point by 2 touchdowns, I believe. And I was like, well, this happened. And didn't they go to overtime?
They did eventually go to overtime. I think Baltimore scored like 20 some odd points in like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah, so it ended up being a comeback win, and it ended up not being as much of a drag me down. But yeah, if Vegas performed like they were supposed to, wouldn't have had that minus 16, which really hurt. I mean, I had the big pick for Tampa Bay against Miami. Even though it was a minus 10 spread, I still got 18 points out of it, which I still think was great. Green Bay didn't do Green Bay things, and I need to stop picking Green Bay because Aaron Rodgers is not going to perform like Aaron Rodgers this year. And Carolina I mean, good for Philly. Carolina was up for, I think, 15 to 9 or 7 or whatever for a while. And Carolina just could not capitalize or keep the momentum going, and Philly eventually caught up and overtook them. But I mean, it ruined my spread, but good for them.
Shout out to Zach Ertz, who is now an Arizona Cardinal.
Yeah, Yeah. I heard about that yesterday, and I kept thinking, I wonder if they'll play him this week because he already played Thursday.
He cannot play. He
I,
cannot play on Sunday.
it
He's
would
not
be. I
eligible.
mean, that would be amazing.
But since he's not doing anything on Sunday, maybe you should like hit him up on the socials and see if he wants to talk about he wants to give us a quote or a statement about coming to Arizona.
Oh God, yeah. I'm sure he'll be just itching to come talk to us.
No, I mean, like, it's just a quote. I'm not saying he's going to come on our podcast, but it was like, as far as like a comment, like if we could get him to actually, like, reply with an official comment about his move to the desert, right? Like I said, it's not like he's going to be doing anything on Sunday. He has a week. He basically has a few days off to get it to move out here and get acclimated, right? We can maybe throw a few restaurant recommendations his way as a goodwill gesture.
You know what really kills me about this particular week is that I was actually debating on switching. I had at one point switched my Carolina pick to Dallas, and I switched it back, and I'm so mad at it right now. Because they did so well. I mean, well, in this particular instance, I think was it Sam Donald is the quarterback for Giants? I think he went out.
No, not for the Giants.
Danny
Dimes, Daniel Jones is the quarterback for the Giants. Sam Darnold is the quarterback for Carolina.
Who is New England? There's so many new quarterbacks this year. Mac Jones. Oh Jesus! All right, whatever.
Am I the player encyclopedia? Is that what my role is now?
I get them confused. It happens. But anyway, So some like two people went out for the Giants during the game, which made this swing so hefty.
Kenny Golladay and Saquon Barkley both went out in that one, and I had started Kenny Golladay. He had one target for no catch, no yards, and then immediately went out, and I got no points out of him, and then I immediately dropped him the next week.
I definitely thought the Arizona game was going to be a lot closer than it was. I thought it would be within a field goal. That's why I stayed away from that particular game. I love how you and I were on opposite ends of Green Bay and Cincinnati, and neither one of us is a winner for that game.
No. I mean, like, both teams should have been designated a loss with as many missed field goals. Like, really, I should have had plus 6 points because Cincinnati, like, definitely, like, had as far as Mason Crosby missed a bunch of field goals, right? But Cincinnati's kicker really had the opportunity first, I feel, to be able to close it out and just couldn't.
I remember watching that game just thinking it was just super, super slow. And for Crosby, he had 4 field goals made, but he had 7 attempts.
Yep.
So if that has any indication.
So it's Denver at Pittsburgh. I don't know what happened to Denver. It's not that Pittsburgh's that good. Well, Deontay Johnson, I should have switched this pick because Deontay Johnson returned in this game, and that ultimately, like, set Pittsburgh up for success. There was an early, like, long touchdown for Deontay Johnson, and it just never materialized for Denver.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I know this is one of your. You went back to back picking against Pittsburgh, and it got you 3 points 1 week, but as a whole, you're in the hole with the negative 3.5 points.
Yes. Yeah. Overall, Dallas was an easy pick. I knew that they were going to.
Yeah, I knew I should have picked it.
Yeah, that they were gonna be able to play well at home. Really, the fact if this was a road game, I might have figured that it would be a little bit closer. But considering they're playing lights out at home,
yeah.
So the Cowboys they're looking good. I'm not saying Super Bowl, but I'm saying, like, NFC East. They should win the division.
They are doing well.
I mean, especially since Philly has given up on their season. They basically, I mean, they traded Zach Ertz before, like, at the very last minute, before the trade deadline. But if
after he makes a touchdown,
yeah, he scored the only touchdown in there, or no, he not the only touchdown, but like he's outside of Jalen Hurts, right?
Well, I was gonna say Jalen Hurts ran into himself. Yeah,
but
I know that because I have him on fantasy.
But he was the only productive player outside of Hurts, right? But then they're going to get rid of him. Okay.
For that, you talking about for that game?
Yeah, but even so, even in the game before that, even with Dallas Goedert in the lineup, because I remember we were playing DraftKings, or I don't know if I was playing with you or if I just picked up a random game just because I was bored. But like I picked him up for DFS, right? And he scored a touchdown in that game too. He's scored touchdowns at least in the last 2 games for sure. So
I don't know what they're thinking.
I mean, I think they're thinking their season's over.
Let's get into week 6.
All right. I'm gonna talking about the trade midweek. That's a good segue. We were talking about Zach Ertz. So hey, it's almost like we planned it.
Almost like we planned it. We don't have a lot of overlap this time, and I'm actually surprised at one of your picks. Even though, but we'll get into that in a moment. I'm just gonna run through it. I'm debating on changing this one, Jacksonville against Miami. I was doing a lot of research. This is a travel game. Are they in London for this one?
Yes, they're in London.
Because I mean, they did 2 this year because they had Falcons and
Jets. They are just hosing the UK fans.
Falcons and Jets was a good game. There was a lot of stuff.
A good game. Yeah. And Jacksonville does have a pretty because for a while they were sending Jacksonville to as the London game. Jacksonville just always ended up being the London game. So Jacksonville does have a little bit of a fan base in London, which is kind of weird to say.
Yeah. So for a lot of my picks were based off just the trends of the season so far of either high scoring and good defensive stoppages. And Jacksonville versus Miami. Jacksonville is just by the numbers has the better team. So them going, overseas. It's an early game. Both teams are going to be a little jet lagged. They're both coming from Florida, so there's no big difference in the one's not coming from California, which would be another 6-hour difference or 3-hour difference.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this is the week Jacksonville gets a win.
All right.
And because
do we have famous Owens in this one?
I think Jacksonville hasn't got their win yet, but we don't have the slide for it yet because we only have one team that's undefeated as well. You can't think of who's undefeated.
I know who's undefeated. It's the Cardinals.
Okay.
Detroit has a win.
I want to say they do.
Who'd they beat? I think we still have some teams that haven't recorded a win yet. I know we only have one undefeated team left, and that's the Arizona Cardinals. And really, the Cowboys should be undefeated as well. Their only loss was to Tampa Bay, and they only barely lost to Tampa Bay.
Okay, so if I can look up this real quick. So we have 1-0 in the NFC, and we have 1-0 in the. I said NFC, but both NFC and AFC have 1-0, and we've named them both.
Detroit and Jacksonville.
All
right, and then we have Arizona. The Arizona Cardinals is the last undefeated team. So we still have some famous Owens.
Yes, we do.
So
I'm thinking this is the week that Jacksonville gets their first win, and Trevor Lawrence gets his first win in the NFL.
Yeah, he's been looking good though. I think next year.
Miami's also beat up a little bit. So sure. without Tua, and their defense isn't doing that great. So I'm hopeful. We'll see. Indianapolis against Houston, even though it's -10, Indianapolis is put together well. They're at home. Houston's just been beat up. They're getting they're allowing a lot of points. So for me, that's an easy pick. Kansas City is known for being a high scoring team. They also let up a lot of points, but I don't know if Washington has the capability to keep up. Dallas, I'll skip because we agree. And Buffalo against Tennessee. Tennessee, even though they had a really good win against the Seahawks, they lost to the Jets 2 weeks ago. they don't seem like they're all together to keep up with Buffalo, who's a high scoring team on offense and and a good stopping team on defense. You can see that last week when they play, or is it last week or the week before when they played Kansas City? Both again, it was. I wish I was on that game. I wanted to pick that game because both are, like I said, they both can go down the field and score, but Buffalo had the defense to stop Kansas City, and Kansas City just doesn't have the defense. So that I'm hoping Buffalo can continue their trend going to Tennessee.
All right. So looking at Baltimore and Chargers, this is a divisional game. Or not a divisional game.
I was going to say, how in the world is that a divisional game?
AFC. It's an AFC, like AFC matchup is really what I mean, because Baltimore is in the AFC North, right? And then the Chargers are in AFC West with Raiders, Kansas City, Denver. Who else? What's the other one in that one? I don't know.
I had it up here. It's, Raiders, Kansas City. Wait, hang on. Come on. Scroll. Why is this thing being weird to me? That's their AFC. Yeah, Raiders, Kansas City, Broncos, and Chargers are AFC.
Yeah, okay, so that's all of them. That is all of them. That's right. So either way, but it's an AFC matchup, so still important, right? So it's not a divisional matchup, but it's still an important matchup. And I just look at Baltimore, like I don't understand why this isn't a pick 'em. I don't see Baltimore even as a home favorite, right? If you look at their last games that they've won, right? Like against Indianapolis, Chargers are definitely a better team than Indianapolis, offense and defense. Both go to the Chargers, right? Like we're losing for the majority of the game, and then the Colts couldn't hold on to a lead in the fourth quarter, and then it went into overtime, right? Overtime win. The week before that, who'd they play the week before that? The same thing. They like had like an overtime win last week, or a comeback win basically last week to barely win. And then
that was the Broncos, and they won 23-7. Yeah, the week before that was the Lions, and they won by 2 points, 19-17.
Oh, that's right. So
and then against the Chiefs, they did have a comeback win when it was 35-36.
So either way, so yeah. So that's what I said. So they beat a Denver team with a concussed Teddy Bridgewater, right? They should have lost to Detroit, who kicked a 66-yard, Justin Tucker kicks a 66-yard field goal. And then they had and then Kansas City isn't who we think they are. They're ultimately the spread killers. Is really what it is on that. So I think I just think the Chargers are an overall better team. I think the offense has more weapons. They have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Jared Cook, as far as receivers, tight ends, Austin Eckler. Right now that Austin Eckler has been lights out right now. Like he's definitely performing. Versus who does Baltimore have? They have Mark Andrews, okay, better tight end, right? And then they have Hollywood Brown. But I'd say cumulatively, the receiving core is better for the Chargers, right?
Right.
And then who are the backfield for Baltimore is absolutely decimated. They're starting Latavius Murray, right?
Yeah, but who's still a good back, and they also have Devontae Freeman as well.
Yeah, but nobody that's a lights out back. Like they're like a top 50, whereas at least Austin Eckler's a top 20 at a minimum, if not top. Or I mean, he's top 10, performing top 10 right now.
I still remember the days when Devontae Freeman was your number one picking in the NFL and in your fantasy football league for sure. I mean, it was years ago, but he used to be like still props to him.
I mean, he's still performing. He's still performing at a proficient level, and that's awesome. And then the Chargers defense has just been on point.
Don't tell Cleveland that. That was a good game. That was a 40-40 game. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was crazy. That crazy amount of points, right? For that, but I think the Chargers defense is definitely solid. I think they get the nod on the defensive side of the ball, and I think that this is one of those like I don't think Baltimore is going to be able to keep up, and I think when push comes to shove, I think that the Chargers defense can show up. So, and that's really what it's gonna where it's gonna be, right? If it's a shootout, they can definitely like keep up, but I think that the defense is gonna. I think the Chargers defense is ultimately gonna be able to make a couple key stops and be able to take it home for them.
Actually, I didn't even realize that we were on opposite ends of that Houston game. I was going to skip that one as well.
Nah,
But
all good. So going to the Rams at the New Jersey Giants there. This is once again just like this. Everybody is completely beat up, right? Like Kenny Galladay is out. Sterling Shepard, I guess, is supposed to play, but he has a hamstring injury that I don't trust it, right? Like I don't expect him to really be able to perform or really be at 100%, but he's got to be in there, right? Darius Slayton is out, I believe, and then Kadarius Toney, who's their rookie, also has like some sort of knee, ankle, something or other. So their entire receiving core is pretty much beat up. They have Evan Ingram, but he hasn't really done anything, right? Saquon Barkley's out for however long with that ankle with an ankle sprain, right? And then Danny Dimes got concussed last week. He's still going to play. I believe he cleared concussion protocols to be able to play, but he got rung up pretty good against the Cowboys. It wasn't a dirty hit. It just, it's one of the risks of playing a physical sport, right? Like,
yes,
did you see the clips, the highlight clips of him getting up and stumbling around?
I have not seen that. I haven't seen that. No.
So he gets tackled, he gets tackled. So it wasn't dirty hit, nothing to him. And then he gets up and he's like a newborn giraffe learning to walk.
That's rough.
Yeah, it was rough. Like I was like, they need to take him out. And then the Colts in Houston. Houston surprised some teams as far as being able to produce and put up some points. And their Mills, their quarterback, seems to be finding a groove. Right, their run game is trash, but like he seems to be finding a groove as far as being able to move the ball around to like Brandon Cooks and KJ Osborne. And the Houston's defense I think has outperformed their projections, right? I think Indy on a short week because they played Monday night, right?
It's a day, but yeah, go ahead.
Short week, but it's still a shorter week.
Well, when I think short week, I think you played Sunday and played Thursday. That's 3 days. That's half the week.
Yeah,
versus 6 to 7 days.
They don't typically do that though. Either way. But I'm saying like, so shorter week, little less time to prepare. And I think that was just an absolute heartbreaking loss for them. Especially pushing it to overtime. I think they, really had to dig deep in the gas, go to the bottom of the gas tank on that one. And then they came up short. So I just think that this is I think this is a key upset, potential key upset spot, especially with the large spread.
All right.
Pittsburgh. This is
both our teams.
Yeah, this is a bet against Seattle. Russell Wilson on IR, Chris Carson on IR.
Is he on IR?
Yeah.
Last I saw, he was just questionable. I didn't know he went to IR.
I saw an update earlier this morning that said they were going to put him on IR. They were going to put him on IR. With his neck, because that neck injury that he has, like if he takes some, if he takes damage, like he can hurt himself. It's probably best to be cautious with it.
Right.
So this is really a bet against Seattle. Like Geno Smith is not Russell Wilson. I don't think Geno Smith is going to be able to move the ball. Alex Collins looks pretty good as far as from a running back perspective, but at the same time, like I think the run defense of Pittsburgh is going to be enough to keep him contained, right? Metcalf had an injury designation. Is he 100% or?
Metcalf is out currently.
Yeah. So with Metcalf out, that leaves Tyler Lockett.
Oh, sorry. I'm completely thinking of something different. No, Metcalf is still. He's not even questionable anymore.
Okay, so he cleared. So he's cleared the injury designation. He had something going on.
Yeah, he said. Metcalf foot doesn't have an injury designation for Sunday's game at Pittsburgh. John Boyd of the Seahawks official site reports.
All right. So either way, but he had a foot thing going on. But I just don't see I don't see Geno Smith getting Metcalf. Where Metcalf really excels is those deep balls downfield, right? I don't see Geno Smith.
So does Lockett, but yeah.
Lockett's a little bit more versatile of a player. Like he can play out of the slot. Metcalf doesn't really play out of the slot. Like I think you could do a little bit more with Lockett, but Lockett does get some of those. But I think that's not necessarily his bread and butter. Whereas Metcalf, that's really his bread and butter. I just don't see Geno Smith being able to get the deep ball going like Russell Wilson does.
He's had a week to practice, so we'll find out.
So we'll find out. And the defense of Seattle just isn't necessarily what what it used to be. So Pittsburgh plays really well at home, and they seem to be clicking, right? Like Big Ben's connecting with Claypool, connecting with Deontay Johnson. Najee Harris seems to be finding his stride, right? So as long as the defense can keep
my only
up,
problem with picking Pittsburgh is that it's never a big spread. I've never seen a really big spread for Pittsburgh, even when the most I've seen so far this year was 10 points, and that was against Green Bay. I don't think it's been a lot of big games.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what's up, but that's as far as where my head's at. What I'm looking for. I'm not really necessarily looking to change much of anything. Maybe I'll keep an eye on the Pittsburgh game if something else kind of jumps at me or whatever.
So just for your reference, against Bills, they won for 9 points. Against Raiders, lost for 9. Bengals. This one was actually bigger. They lost by 14, so I guess that was the bigger one. Then 10 for Packers, and then they beat Broncos by 8. And so it's they're never really not diverse, but they're never bigger spreads. I was trying to think of a different adjective than saying big again. Large, never large. They're never large spreads. I'm just trying not to be repetitive. Dallas, we're both on Dallas against New England. At New England, as long as it's not raining, we should be fine.
Yeah, I don't think the weather's supposed to be but like you said, like the Dallas has a run game though, which is the difference.
Indeed.
Yeah, there's no other real games that interest me that aren't like close. I could look at I could potentially make an argument to switch it and take Vegas as an underdog. Even though they're with
Vegas let me down last week. And after what's going on with their team right now, I'm really curious to see if they would even be able to pull it together this week.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. I think that's questionable. I think a lot of people might play on it as far as like when you have an injured player and everybody else rises to the occasion around them, potentially. But I just look at that. I'm like, mate, I still think it's kind of up in the air on who shows up.
No, it's going to be an interesting week. I like a few of your picks. Don't think I'll change any of mine though. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's get out of here.
Well, the current standings, right? So current standings, your Owen. It has been snapped. I finally took a week down.
Excuse me. Your Owen has been snapped. It was 0-4. My undefeated streak was broken. Yes, I was not owing anything.
It's okay. So the comeback. So the comeback might just start week 6 here.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
All right.
Follow us on Facebook at the Bald and Beardiful. Also on Instagram, the Bald and Beardiful with periods in between all the words. I almost said numbers. You can email us. you can email us at theballandbeardiful@gmail.com. Please like, subscribe, share, send us some email, send us some feedback, leave some comments. We'd love to hear from anyone who's listening. Anything to add, Chris?
Nah, I think that'll do it. Until next week, same ball time, same Beardiful channel.
Bye, everybody.